Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we have 9 more fun and overpowered builds in Elden Ring for you to check out. Most of these are build requests directly from you guys. This is going to be absolutely awesome. For the first one here, we're going to start with Vyke's Warspear. This is more of a PvP weapon, but you can make it work in PvE. It does a lot of fire damage, and you can get decent poise damage with the weapon itself, especially when using charged attacks. Strangely, the weapon states that it does only pierce damage, but yet the charged attack seems to be, I don't know, like slash or standard or something. But regular hits are going to be pierce damage, so you could use the Spear Talisman if you want to. As far as the Ash of War itself goes, a lot of fire damage there. It can build up madness on regular human enemies, or if you're doing PvP. All around, a really fun weapon to use. Definitely a really cool Ash of War, and a favorite weapon for PvP players for a long time. We have Vyke's Warspear plus 10 preferably. We have any seal for buffs. Part of the Tree Sentinel set on, and we have the Sand Green Noble Roban. We have the Shard of Alexander. We have the Fire Scorpion Charm. We have Millicent's Prosthesis. We are using the Spear Talisman because most of it's going to be pierce damage. For our flash, we have the Bloodsucking Crack tier, Flame tier. We're using Margit Shackle there to stun the boss. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this one, we have 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 25 Endurance, 16 Strength, 45 Dexterity. We have 50 Faith. For our buffs, we're using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon. For the next one up here, we have a personal favorite on here, and that is the Flame Great Mace using Flaming Strike. This one's an absolute bonk build that does a ton of poise damage and massive fire damage. You're going to have around 850 AR or so, somewhere between 800 and 900, somewhere in that range. But mainly it's the poise damage you get from the Great Mace. This is on New Game Plus 3 Journey 4, but you'll be able to break frequently even on New Game Plus 7 because Great Hammers do a ton in terms of poise damage. And this one does a lot of fire damage. You get a B in Faith scaling when you use this in Flame Art Affinity, which is awesome. Goes perfect with Flaming Strike with that extra fire coat, and it looks cool too. Let's jump into equipment and stats. And we have the Flame Art Great Mace, plus 25 preferably with Flaming Strike. We have the Erdtree Seal here, which is a weightless seal. It's cool. You can check out the armor set here. We hit 56 poise for this one. Shard of Alexander, Fire Scorpion Charm. Of course, we have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman. And then we have the Axe Talisman. We're doing a lot of charge attacks for the poise damage. Spike Crack tier, Flame tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats, we have 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 26 Endurance, 28 Strength. We have 65 Faith. For our buffs, we're going to be using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and once again, Blessing's Boon. Another person wanted a build for Waves of Darkness. I did a build not too long ago for it, but I didn't use the Great Stars. The Great Stars is a really cool weapon to use with Waves of Darkness, and the reason is because of the poise damage that it does. The follow-up attack does excellent poise damage. Mixing in charged and jump attacks, once again, you have that kind of like Great Hammer type class where the poise damage is excellent, and you can do pretty good damage, pretty solid damage with the Waves of Darkness Ash of War. Get a decent amount of poise breaks, and we're pretty split here. We're in cold affinity between a little bit of a strength intelligence build here. Really cool one, a really fun one for sure. If you have any build requests, by the way, be sure to comment them below. I still have a list I'm getting through for these weekend build requests. It's been a lot of fun once again doing these. I like putting these together. I hope they come out well enough and you guys enjoy them. This one for me personally, I like. Waves of Darkness can be really good if you use it at the right time. And of course you have a follow-up swing too, which is really cool. And again, a lot of poise damage with this setup. We have the Cold Great Stars plus 25 preferably with Waves of Darkness. Any seal, you don't need the requirements to use it for buffs. You can check out our armor set there, 58 poise, Shard of Alexander, Magic Scorpion Charm. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman. We have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman. And then we have the Magic tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this one, we have 55 Vigor, 18 Mind, 27 Endurance, 40 Strength. It's going to be 60 when you two-hand this, 40 Intelligence, 25 Faith. Once again, using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon. Next up, we have an updated build for the Shield and Heal. This was a direct request. This is a really cool build because you get to block a lot of stuff, and of course you get to heal back any chip damage you take. The Fingerprint Shield is amazing. Its guard boost is incredible, so you can block most attacks. Now, you can use Scholar Shield if you want to throw in a couple extra points of intelligence that'll help you with some elemental resistances and a little bit of guard boost. Not as much as it used to be though, because they nerfed some of it, but it's not bad at all to add to this build. As far as the build itself, I make a few mistakes here at the beginning, but then I get a bunch of blocks in and a bunch of heals. The whole concept here is to block as much as you can, and when you you find the right window to use the Blasphemous Blade to heal back the chip damage that you take. Of course, the Fingerprint Shield here in this battle, we're mostly against physical damage. Its elemental resistance isn't bad. Once again, if you use Scholar's Shield, that's going to help a lot with that if you have a couple extra points of intelligence. This was definitely a tight squeeze at 150. If you're at higher levels, definitely go for those few points of intelligence. Of course, you want to go for more faith as well, and more endurance, more pretty much of everything. 150 is very tight for this build, but you can make it work. And of course, we're able to get decent damage with the Blasphemous Blade because I think we have like 40 or 50 faith or something. A decent amount of faith. This is strength and faith in terms of the build. And the damage isn't bad at all either. We don't have 51 poise. I didn't really see a use for it because you're usually constantly blocking. So poise isn't going to matter too much as long as you time your blocks effectively. See the shield there, it does very little stamina damage. Aside from these swipes, they do a lot of stamina damage. Everything else pretty much is just a little bit of a chip to your stamina bar, not bad at all. And the more endurance you have for a build like this one, the more you're going to be able to stand there, take hits, and wait for the right opportunity to use the Blasphemous Blade. If you're ever having trouble, just use this build. I mean, you could use this build at Radon at the end of the DLC. You could use this build for the final boss. There's so many bosses that you can take on with this build that it's going to be a little bit of a longer fight for you. It's not going to be a quick fight because you're not doing a ton of damage. But man, if you use this with Black Flame's protection, especially if you add Scholar's Shield, you're going to be pretty much blocking everything, going back, getting in hits with the Blasphemous Blade. And as you see here, I didn't even use a health flask. Didn't need to use a health flask whatsoever, even though the fight went on for a while. You just don't really need it with this direct setup. It's absolutely awesome. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Blasphemous Blade plus 10, we have the Erdtree Seal, we have the Fingerprint Shield, plus 25 preferably, no skill you want on that for sure. Random armor set, that helm will give you plus 2 faith. We have Shard of Alexander, Talisman of the Dread, we have the Great Shield Talisman, only a little bit of a boost now from that for the Fingerprint Shield. Arsenal Charms plus 1 or Great Jar's Arsenal if you have it, Flame tier, Green Burst Crystal tier. Let's jump into stats for this build. Now our stats are going to be 55 Vigor, 20 Mind, 35 Endurance, 48 Strength, 40 Faith. We have 15 Dexterity, we're using Golden Vow, Black Flame's Protection, and Blessings of the Erdtree. And the next one up here, once again, another build request. We have the Executioner's Guard Counter build. This is a Guard Counter build with the Executioner's Great Axe. I think the person that wanted this probably wanted this because of the critical multiplier that you get with the Executioner's Great Axe. It has an amazing multiplier for a Great Axe. It's absolutely awesome in terms of the critical break damage that you get. You'll see it in a little bit. I do mess up a little bit here. I'm not the best with the guard counters. Goes really well with the Brass Shield. Of course, if you have all the endurance for it and everything, you can run this with like the Fingerprint Shield, but you need a lot of endurance and be a decent amount of weight. But back to this, we're able to block a decent amount and of course get good follow-up attacks with the guard counters. And then getting critical breaks, there's the damage. It's always going to be solid with the Executioner's Great Axe because of that critical multiplier. And then we have Royal Knight's Resolve on the weapon for some extra damage too. This is in heavy affinity, not a bad build. Another build that's going to work really well for you, but once again, takes a little bit of time and the fights are going to go on for a little bit, but you'll be pretty safe running this. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Executioner's Heavy Great Axe plus 25, preferably Erdtree Seal, Brass Shield with no skill. Of course, we got Royal Knight's Resolve on the Executioner's Great Axe, Random Armor Set, Great Shield Talisman, we have the Curved Sword Talisman, we have the Dagger Talisman to take advantage of those critical breaks, same with the Blade of Mercy Talisman, and then we have the Faith tier for this one, Green Burst Crystal tier. Let's talk about stats. And for stats, we have 60 Vigor, 18 Mind, 31 Endurance, 75 Strength, we have 12 Dexterity, 25 Faith, we're using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessings Boon. Next one is one I did a while ago, probably like a year ago when I did a bunch of claw builds. A couple people asked me for a build for the Raptor's Talons. I think it was at least 2 people. This is really cool to use it with the Blood Flame Blade, of course, incantation to add the bleed buildup. And on top of that, the amount of bleed buildup you'll get, as well as the really cool charge attack flip. I showed that at the beginning. It's absolutely awesome. Still better to do regular hits, of course, but the flip that you get on the charge attacks, really fun to use. And you can actually build up on successive hits by using that. Of course, now we're going to go back to regular hits to absolutely shred. That's where you really build up the successive hits. But that charge attack is really cool. I love the flip on this. It's just so cool to like look at. You get the flip initially and then the back flip. Doesn't count as a jump or anything. I have the Raptor's Black Feathers on just for like the theme. But still, nevertheless, a really cool charge attack on this. I think if you like the Raptor's Talons, you're going to love this build because you're going to absolutely shred with this. Let's jump into equipment and stats. Everything you need to know to absolutely destroy with a claw build, which can build up on a lot of bleed and successive hits. We have the Keen Raptor's Talons plus 25, preferably with Impaling Thrust. We're using Blood Flame Blade, Dragon Communion Seal. We have the Raptor's Black Feathers on, Solitude Set, Shard of Alexander, Lord of Blood's Exaltation. You can wear the White Mask too. Melissan's Prosthesis, Wingsword Insignia, or Rotten Wingsword Insignia is better if you have it. Bloodsuck and Crack Tier, Thorny Tier. We're using Moog Shackle to stun the boss there. Let's talk about stats. And we have 60 Vigor, 18 Mind, 25 Endurance, 12 Strength. We have 75 Dexterity, we have 25 Faith, and we are going to be using Golden Vow, Flame Grip Me Strength, Blessing's Boon, and Blood Flame Blade. Next one up, somebody asked me for one that doesn't use weapons, but is purely an all-caster Black Flame build. This is a really cool one because you can get a ton of damage. You can see they're actually stacked up like 21,000 damage. This dragon's pretty weak to fire though, but ultimately this is going to be a really cool pure caster build that takes advantage of Black Flame. Yeah, you can get a lot of fire damage, a lot of percentage damage, all that stuff. This is a really good one ultimately. I think a lot of people will be happy with this one. You can run the Erdtree Seal, which has great scaling, and then the Godslayer Seal in the offhand. If you have 2 Godslayer Seals, that's actually going to be pretty close in terms of damage. They're relatively close. I think having an Erdtree Seal and 1 Godslayer Seal, it slightly beats it out by a little bit, beats that 10% boost out or so. But still, really cool build here. Does a lot of damage. We got the Black Flame vibes going on. This was a build request. Hopefully it came out well. We have the Erdtree Seal plus 10, the Godslayer Seal plus 25 preferably. That's in our offhand though for the boost. Check out the armor set there. It's pretty cool. 61 poise. Godfrey Icon, Fire Scorpion Char. We have the Phlox Canvas Talisman. We have the Ritual Swords Talisman for this build. We're using the Faith tier, Flame tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats, we have 60 Vigor, 25 Mind, 26 Endurance. We have 15 Strength and 15 Dexterity in case you want to use any weapons. 80 Faith with the Faith tier, Golden Vow, Hellish Jabiri, Blessings of the Erdtree, Scouring Black Flame, and Black Flame. Yeah, that one's really good for pure damage. Next one here, we have a build for the Royal Greatsword. A weapon that I don't cover too often because of the fact that this is basically Lion's Claw with a little bit of frost buildup. This weapon needed innate frost. They never added it to the weapon. I'm not sure why. It's a small thing they could have done to make this weapon great and make it stand out from Guts Greatsword. The frost explosion's really cool. I get beat up here for a second, but the problem is getting frost procs is a little bit difficult because you're relying only on the Ash of War, not on the weapon itself. Still, you can get a frost proc. I believe I get one before the end of this fight. It's just that if you're all the way up on New Game Plus 7, you're going to have a little bit of hard time proccing frost on bosses that become heavily resistant to status effects as you go on through your journeys. I said go out through your journeys. They go up. Resistances will go up, and the more you proc, they go up too. So getting a second one during a fight could be really challenging, but still, very, very cool Ash of War. Split between Strength and Intelligence here. We're going to go over stats, equipment, everything you need to know. We have the Royal Greatsword plus 10 preferably. Any seal for buffs, again, you don't need the stats for it. Check out the armor set there, part of Blide's set and the Black Flame Monk Helm. We have the Shard of Alexander, Magic Scorpion Charm, Blade of Mercy Talisman, Two-Handed Sword Talisman for any regular hits, Magic Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier, Margit Shackle to stun the boss. Let's jump into stats. And we're a little bit spread around here. We have 55 Vigor, 20 Mind, 32 Endurance, 40 Strength. That's going to be 60 when you two-hand this, though. 18 Dexterity, 30 Intelligence, 25 Faith, Golden Vow, Flame Grip Me Strength, Blessing's Boon. And the last build on here is a completely random one. So as I was doing these, I had to defeat a couple of bosses for a few reasons. I needed the Royal Greatsword, so I had to take down Astel. There was a couple other bosses I had to take on when I was running through here. I ended up using a build, not in Blood Affinity, in Heavy Affinity, with the Iron Greatsword and Repeating Thrust. It did massive damage, goes really well with the Spear Talisman, and apparently you don't need blood all the time on your weapon. You don't need Blood Affinity. You can absolutely shred with Heavy Affinity on the Iron Greatsword. The AR is ridiculous, and the successive attack damage is also ridiculous. Now, the Tree Sentinels here have decent resistances against most damage types. I think they're a little bit vulnerable to Pierce because a lot of things in the game are. Still, this did a lot of damage to them, builds up a lot of successive hits. Don't need to split your stats here at all. You can still get a ton of damage with a Heavy Repeating Thrust build on the Iron Greatsword. And I just went over the exact thing you want for the Iron Greatsword, plus 25 preferably. Any seal for buffs, you don't need the stats for it. You can check out the armor set there. 53 poise. Shard of Alexander, Melissan's Prosthesis. Wingsword Insignia or Rotten Wingsword Insignia is better if you have it. Spear Talisman, we're mainly doing pierce damage. Authority tier, Bloodsucking crack tier. Let's jump into stats. And we have 60 Vigor, 18 Mind, 30 Endurance, 66 Strength. It's going to be 90 when you two-hand this, 25 Faith, 17 Dexterity. We have Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing Spoon, 53 Poise. This was a really cool one. Definitely can help get you through some tough bosses with this one. And thanks for watching this one. Thanks for tuning into my top 9 fun and overpowered builds. I had a lot of fun with these ones because these were pretty much all build requests. Back to these again. If you have any more build requests, be sure to comment them below. They may appear in an upcoming video. Of course, I'm going to be covering some other stuff soon. Taking a little bit of a break lately, if you guys noticed. But I will be back at it sometime soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more Elden Ring and soon Night Rain content. Can't wait for DLC later this year, as well as the Tarnished Edition. Really excited for that. Catch you in the next video.